Hello and welcome. I'm so excited to start on this adventure of making a podcast. So, I decided to start a podcast because I want to share current and past experiences that have taught me very, very valuable life lessons. I also want to talk about my battles with anxiety, stress, and depression. And I want to share different methods that have helped me manage them. So, the reason I want to again start this podcast and share my story is for other people that are going through similar situations. I want you to know that you're not alone and that you do have power and you do have control over your life and your happiness. And and that's what I'm here to do. I just want to talk about my experiences and be honest, and hopefully that assists and helps other people because it has made a big difference in my life. And yeah, so I'm here to share it, and thank you so much for tuning in. This is the very first episode. So and I'm nervous, but here we are. But to get started, I want to share a little bit about myself. And I'm also going to talk about what exactly triggered my anxiety. Okay. Well, my name is Yesenia Garcia. I'm 36. I'm married. I have 4 beautiful children. I am a Mexican American cis woman. I was born and raised in South Central Los Angeles. I attended all LAUSD public schools, Budlong Elementary, John Muir, Manny Arts, and then I went on to college. So I was the first in my family to graduate high school, the first in my family to go to college, to graduate from college, to receive a degree. I received a bachelor's degree in psychology from Cal State Dominguez Hills. After that, I did have my first child in the last year of college, and then we also purchased our first home, and I became the first homeowner in my family as well. And in the last 15 years or so, I've been a social worker, case manager for a government agency. And that's, just a little bit about me, just typical working mom, typical wife, um, nothing extraordinary, have a very basic kind of job, that I do very well. But yeah, so something happened. Something did happen that triggered my anxiety, something unexpected. 5 years ago, 2019, I can say that I had a different mentality. Still myself, but just my mindset, it was just different. It was just different. And then I'm sure you guys are all going to relate because this happened to you as well. 2020. 2020 came along and we were told about COVID-19. And it was mid March 2020 when we went on under quarantine. And that's when the schools shut down, businesses shut down. And once the schools shut down, we were given like within a days or less notice, I was like, oh my God, this is serious. And honestly, it completely freaked me out. I was scared, and I was not scared for me. I was not afraid of, getting COVID. Um, that was not my fear. What I was scared of was for my kids. At that time, I only had three. I didn't have my baby, my little one. He came in 2020. But yes, that's all I can think about was the safety of my kids. All I can think about was I need to keep these three healthy and alive. And obviously, I need to be healthy and alive because I need to be here, right? But my only concern was them. That's it. But that year, 2020, specifically when we were quarantined, when we were told to quarantine, like that moment, all of that, it was just like, that's when all fear just let loose in my body and in my mind. I didn't know how to keep my family safe. I didn't have the answers. And that was so scary because if I didn't have the answers, then what do I tell my kids? How do I help my kids if I don't have the answers? Nobody had the answers. We were getting all different types of information, right? Sometimes opposing information. So we didn't know who to believe at this point. And that's just when I realized, you know what? In order to keep my family safe, I need to know the truth, right? Whatever the truth is. And that meant like I need to know what is COVID, or what are we doing, like, and again, and I just didn't know what to do. So what helped me was thinking about other times in history where there was pandemics and how people survive, etc. Obviously, I quarantined and I wore masks and things like that, right? So I did my best. But still, from there, no, I don't want to say spiraled, but I guess. I don't know. But from there, yeah, I just always felt anxious. I was just always thinking about my kids, the future. What do I do? What do I tell them? How do I keep them safe? And through this time, I also was kind of reading a little more, maybe trying to calm my stress, right? But I realized that I had to go back to therapy because I was feeling anxiety and I had never felt that before. I didn't realize that I was such an anxious person. And I think I've always been an anxious person, but after 2020, it just kind of went on overload. And the first time I went to therapy, I was a teenager. I was about 16 or 17. And I did that for a year. So I decided that it was a good idea for me to seek it again. And for those of you that are lucky enough to have health insurance, that have access to therapy, that could pay for therapy, I highly encourage you, if you're not currently in therapy, I do highly encourage you, just because I feel like everybody could benefit from it, right? Um, Especially if you're going through something, or maybe if you're not currently going through something big, but maybe you're just going through a transition, or maybe you just want to talk to somebody, kind of hear yourself, or talk out loud to somebody, right? Sometimes our family and friends, like, they can only do so much, and they can't always give us the quote unquote right answer, right? Or sometimes they tell us what we want to hear. And well, let me say this. If you're sick, or if you're not feeling well, or you have a question about your physical health, who do you go to? You go to a doctor, right? If you have a problem or question about your teeth, who do you go to? Who do you go to? Your dentist, right? Your dental health. So if there's something like mentally, emotionally, you're not feeling good, something kind of nagging at you, or maybe in your mind, maybe you're not able to make a decision. I think that's another good one. Maybe you're kind of you want a little bit of guidance. But therapists are not there to tell you what to do. So I also do want to uh, say that to people, especially people that have never gone to therapy, that what they're there to do is to listen to you. They're there to listen to you. A therapist is there to listen to you, to hear you out. They're not there to judge you. They're there to help you find the tools that you need to help yourself because ultimately you're the only one that can help yourself. Okay. And sometimes we don't realize how much we self sabotage ourselves because of our ego. And I know it's hard to look within and ask if we are contributing to our problems, but it's a tough question that we do need to ask. And again, a therapist can help you manage these emotions and these thoughts that you may have or are going through. Okay. But I don't want to scare anybody. I don't want to, into going to therapy. I want to encourage people that haven't tried it. Um, Again, even if you feel like there's nothing major going on, but it's good to get that feedback. And hey, again, especially if you have access to it, make use of it. Make use of it. And it doesn't have to be a long term thing, it could be a short term. That's for you to discuss with your therapist. And also think about it like shopping or, dating. You're gonna you have to look around. So maybe the first therapist that you talk to, maybe you're not vibing, you're just not clicking, maybe they're not understanding you because therapists are just people, okay? That's another misconception. Like therapists, why can't they fix their own problems? We're all just people. So again, if maybe one is not working out for you, maybe if you want somebody of the same gender, same nationality, maybe around the same age, or maybe want somebody a little older, just somebody that you can feel comfortable enough with to be vulnerable with, and that you allow yourself to kind of bring those walls down. Um, if that's something you're having trouble with, that's something I struggle with. So again, um, you can only help yourself, and I think this is a good way, to have a support system. Also, if maybe you don't have a support system, this is another person that you want to have. So yeah, and that's basically what I wanted to talk about today. I did, just want to talk about what triggered me, a little bit about myself and what triggered me. And one of the things that I've done that has helped me a lot, has been therapy. So I want to encourage you to try it, and let me know how it goes. But I can't believe I just recorded my very first episode. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of this journey with me. Please let me know if you have any questions, if you do start therapy or whatever, but or also any other mental health topics you want me to talk about. Yeah, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share to a friend that loves listening to podcasts. Stay tuned for the next episode. I'm going to be talking about self care activities and how to find what works for you. I'll let you know some of my favorite things to do that I like to do. But yes, we're all different, so there's something out there for everyone. All right, I'll talk to you then. Thanks again so much for listening and being a listener. Woo! See ya. Remember, I am not a licensed mental health professional. The information provided in this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.